don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
So you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late, they cancel last minute, forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll tolerate it.
The flow insane, take my spot, so the range. Shoot my shot with perfect aim. 3rd degree, that perfect flame. Ain't no sleep, that's the game. Oh, so southern, that's the slang. When they see me, that's the main. Chasing checks and fly like planes. Big old stick, I bought a cane. Flick my wrist and bought the ring. I'm so boss, we're not the same. Paid the cost and kept the change. Now I'm walking Hall of Fame. And I reside in the cloud. Grand wishes with these bitches. Taking pictures with the crowd, and I'm out.
What's good? What's good? What's good, peoples? Peace, blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. What's the word? I hope all is well with each and every single one of you. Shout out to my poets, writers, content creators. Like, share, repost, hype the video. Let the people know that we are on. This is the most honest, the most transparent, the most raw and authentic conversation you will possibly get on this particular matter, on most of them in general. And it's about to be one of those, man. This would be officially our 3rd time discussing this case. The sentencing was already concluded. They already said, look, we're about to give you 35. We putting that on your helmet. That's what you got. And that didn't mean that it was going to be over with. Oh, Charleston White went on a whole tirade selling watermelon t-shirts, saying F you to the black culture, F you to anybody who feel like I'm a sellout, I'm about to make my money, blah, blah. He went on a rampage all over social media. Jeff Metcalf, he came out, had words for the people, had words for the Anthony family. You go on TikTok, even right now as we speak, people are talking about this case. Nobody is letting up on this sentencing. Even then had conversations and posts from people in older streams that we did, clips, shorts, basically saying the brother deserved what he got. How can you defend somebody who was a murderer? It's been a back and forth. And I understand it. I truly get it. I know why people are frustrated on both sides. And I can also call it out on both sides for different reasons and different realities. If you've been to any of these streams and you've heard us talk about it, you know what I'm talking about. Specifically, I'm as fair and neutral as possible. Well, I want to tell you how we led up to this. Because I was done. I wasn't going to let it go. But the persistent talks about this on every app, not just YouTube, not just Facebook, but Twitter, IG, Rumble. There's not a single app where there are not men and women discussing this topic. Did Karmelo Anthony intentionally kill this kid, or was it self-defense? Did he deserve 35 years? Should he be free? Does the black culture support ignorant, blatant violence? Was he a bully? I'm here to answer every question that I possibly can. And while I wait on my partner to pull up, I just want to put this out here. Salutes, Jen. Salutes. I don't care what color, what creed. I don't care where you come from. Right is right, wrong is wrong. One of the issues that I had with this whole situation is that I've lost a significant amount of faith in the judicial system. And I have very good reasons to feel that way. Just like I don't have a lot of faith in humanity. Not to say that every single one of us are scumbags and dirtballs. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that with the history that has been presented to me over the last couple of years, it is quite evident that when you put certain people in a hot seat and it's time for them to do the right thing, hold people accountable, you find out real quick you can't rely on everyone. Max, I see you in the studio. Let me bring you up on the big screen really quick. Hold on a second. Sound check, sound check. Good evening.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. What's going on, man? Good evening.
Good evening. I'm just getting home. My apologies. It's been it's been a lot, man. So I understood that this is about someone being proven innocent or something, or maybe I'm wrong.
So I don't know if you're familiar with the Karmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf story. It's not something that is not known to nobody. It's pretty much on every app, unless you just aren't on social media that often, then you wouldn't know about it. But basically,
The name sounds familiar.
I do have a clip I'm going to play. We've already spoken about this specifically on 2 other occasions. This will be the 3rd occasion. Basically, Karmelo Anthony ends up unaliving another white kid under a tent, and everybody is teeter-tottering between, was it murder? Was it self-defense? Was he bullying Austin? Was Austin posing a threat to him? It's endless. Like for you to really grasp the whole backstory, you would have had to like been following the case for a significant amount of time. But Karmelo ended up getting sentenced 35 years for the murder. Everybody is on different sides of it with their opinion. Some people think, this was rigged. Some people believe that this was justice. And I've stayed pretty neutral as much as I can. I wish the other gentleman that I did these with would pull up, because he had a lot to say. However, he's not here. I do have one clip that I want to play. It kind of gives a different perspective of everything, but that's pretty much the basis of it. He ended up getting sentenced. A young man lost his life. There was testimony that was left out of the court. There was a jury that was mixed, didn't have no black people in it. The father is friends with the judge and the DA. It was a whole lot, man. It was a whole lot, and like even to this day, people are still divided about it. But I came across something that changed everything. It's changed the way I viewed it, and I think it's going to change the way a lot of people view it. But I'll play the clip, and we'll go from there.
All right.
I have a theory about the Karmelo Anthony case, and I really want y'all to put two and two together and take an account of what I am saying. Karmelo Anthony was invited underneath the tent by Eddie Para. Karmelo goes underneath the tent after he was invited. At first, Eddie said that Karmelo Anthony just approached him, and then later admitted that he actually invited him. So those are two contradictions in his story, where at first he said that Karmelo Anthony just came up into the tent and approached him. That turned out to be a lie. Second thing I want to mention, in the video, you clearly see from Austin and Hunter walking with their friends. They go directly up to Karmelo Anthony. So how would they have known that he was even sitting there? Because from when they walk in, you couldn't have seen him sitting underneath the tent based on how far they were away. You couldn't have seen that. So how did they know that he was underneath the tent at that moment in time, after Eddie had invited him underneath the tent? Okay. When the altercation starts to happen, they was under the tent for a few minutes before there was any physical contact. For Eddie to pull out his phone and record versus saying, hey, no, this is my friend, I invited him underneath the tent. Eddie never says that he invited him underneath the tent. Instead, he pulls his phone out and record. After Karmelo Anthony does what he does and he takes off running, right? After he was detained, I believe he was detained by a police officer. Eddie also has to get detained because he's starting to run up on Karmelo Anthony. And he says, I'm going to kill you. You killed my brother. A coach testified this in court, that he had to stop Eddie from running up on Karmelo Anthony. Mind you, this is the same person that invited him underneath the tent. This is the same person that instead of saying, hey, I invited him underneath the tent, like, leave him alone, he can sit here. This is the same person, instead of saying that, he pulled his phone out and record. Now, Eddie is supposed to be Karmelo Anthony's girlfriend, play cousin. So the real question in this situation is two things. How did the twins know that Karmelo Anthony was underneath the tent? Because based on where they were, they walked directly up to him. How did y'all even see him underneath the tent? Because you were too far away to even see him. They walked directly up to him. They never sat down. The story about 15 people telling him to leave and it being this big issue was a lie. The story that Hunter gave saying they sat down and they heard someone talking reckless and they looked over and seen that someone wasn't supposed to be there, that was a lie. So how did y'all really know that he was underneath the tent?
First County 911, what is the location of the emergency?
Hi, we're at Taekwondo Stadium. My friend just got stabbed.
Okay, do you know who stabbed him?
We have no clue. He was sitting in our tent, but you need to send an ambulance right now.
They're on the way, okay.
That's the first question. The second question is, why, Eddie? Why? Because if y'all put two and two together, this entire thing was set up by Eddie. But the real question is, why? Can y'all figure out why?
Shout out to this woman, man. I'm not even mad at her assessment. I love that perspective.
How do you invite someone and not? What? Is this a high schooler?
This is a high school.
Okay, that explains it. He's ashamed to say that, yeah, I invited a black brother in here. I don't know. If the guy's white, that's just my thought. Forgive me. Like, the dude that invited him is white or no? Hello?
Eddie is black. The thing is, he tried to play it off. He tried to play it off as if he didn't really know who he was. Hunter, he didn't want to take to the stand. They didn't put him up there to testify. Hunter's take on the whole situation was a lie. There were so many different loopholes in this that I had a big issue with you putting friends and family on the stand, and you're expecting these people to tell the truth or not tell the truth and do the right thing. Everything surrounding this whole trial was fishy to me from the very beginning, because for one, I never understood how you could convince me that in 2026 your cameras would be so subpar, that your images would be that grainy that we couldn't see nothing. Two, how is anybody going to find reliability in a courtroom filled with people who are associated with each other? Your defense attorney isn't reliable. The brother is obviously not going to take the stand. And if he did take the stand, did you honestly believe that he was going to say, hey, I'm the brother of such and such. I'm the one who instigated this whole situation. I went in there with the intentions on doing this. I'm listening to this lady's story and the way that she kind of put it together. And it's like, well, this seemed like it makes a little more sense now that you bring a girl into the situation.
So the thing is, there's not enough information from that one clip because I gotta look into stuff more. So forgive me, people, for my naiveness, but I can only guess that the girl plays a factor in this, in a sense, like someone's fighting over her or something like that. The thing is, I don't see the problem with. I don't understand why he didn't want to acknowledge that he knew who he was. Like, if a group of people are seeing someone come in and they don't know who they are, like, I understand that feeling of like, who is this? But to to not even let them know that you know him, I don't know why that's a problem. Unless it's a popularity thing. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe a lot of people don't like Anthony or something like that. Like especially if if an altercation breaks out over that, there's something about that that doesn't make sense to me. Like I'm not understanding the. I'm really clueless as to why that occurred.
Right, because like what people keep on trying to say is Karmelo was an aggressor, that he wasn't in any danger. Nobody was threatening to jump him, even if there was force or Austin attacked him physically in any type of way, a push, a shove, any of that. It didn't call for him to pull a weapon out and stab him in the chest. And that's what everybody was running with. Well, not everybody. You still had this back and forth of, well, how do you know this? How do you know that? Because this is what they said. This is what they said. My thing is, I don't really have a lot of faith in humans no more. And this, I'm not directing it towards you specifically, but I asked the question, if your family member or a friend of yours or your high school sweetheart or whoever the hell it is stabbed or killed somebody or did some dirt, you were a witness to it and you can't get out of it because you're on camera or people eyewitnessed you being present, are you going to tell the truth? Are you going to hold them accountable? And before you say, yeah, you would, stop it, because everybody is not going to do that. And that was my whole thing with this whole situation. If you're telling me that Karmelo went to this tent intentionally to create a problem for the Metcalf family, they told him to get up and get out, and he said no, and then they took it a step further, and then he, out of being a black kid who was adopting a toxic behavior or a toxic culture, said, I'm not going nowhere, white boy, make me. And then he decided that you have a hard time convincing, or you're going to have a hard time convincing people of that. And that's the picture I think people were trying to paint. It's like he wasn't being bullied. He wasn't in a situation where it was life threatening, and he took it too far. It was overly excessive.
Yeah, that I don't know. That's a lot of people are losing it. Like that's something out of cold case. Like people getting killed over something wild. Give me a second here.
Yeah, I have a pet. I have many pet peeves. One of them on my list is when, we want to see justice served, but we pick and choose when and who serves it. You got chopped audio. Nothing is going. If you honestly thought, as a viewer or a commentator watching from social media, if you honestly thought with the way the system is designed and set up against black people, or just people in general, but in this case black people, you really thought that raw footage, that unedited, uncut footage was going to come out where it clearly shows all of the lies that would clear him or absolve him of what they accused him of and sentenced him for. You got another thing coming. Half of the stuff that's on social media gets fabricated and chopped, remixed, and stepped on all the time. What I saw, and that's just one clip. That was her giving her own perspective of what she thinks happened. Is basically what it sounds like she's saying to me is Eddie was jealous or had some type of envy towards the other guy. He said he really ain't know like that, even though they have pictures, prosecutors, and they have pictures of them hanging out on multiple occasions in different locations outside of school. So that was a lie. But he must have had a thing for the girl. And for whatever reason, you tried to line them up. You had Austin and his brother come, but Hunter is the one who approached Karmelo first. Austin is the one that follows up behind him, their entourage, and he's standing over him, and you see what you see. So I don't know. I still have so many questions with this. Like I said, it's a lose-lose situation to me. Because as far as I'm concerned, there was a lot of immaturity in this case. And I can't prove without a shadow of a doubt this was over a female, but dudes do crash out over women all the time, girls, all that. In this case, I can't really speculate, but I saw what I saw.
The video's too grainy, and a lot of people talk about that. They're like a lot of like all this technology, but then these video cameras suck at having good quality. That it's like they're stuck in the 90s. Like even like for 9/11, when the plane hits the Pentagon, all you see is this flash of light. You don't see anything that indicates an airplane, and it's a camera that's for the Pentagon. I'm just like, I don't know if the speed rate is just that bad, but the frame rate is that bad. But like, it's funny how some cameras are better than others, and it's always the important cases that have the grainiest footage, even in modern age. That I can't tell who's who in that footage. From what I caught someone running and everything, but I mean, what is the accepted story as to why that happened? Does anyone have an accepted story?
The story that people is trying to run with is he stabbed him for no reason. There was no threat. There was no danger. There was no reason for him to do it. He Austin, the one that died, put his hand on him. He didn't want to leave. Altercation ensued, and then he stabbed him. People are just basically saying he could have easily got up and left.
Yeah. It sounds like youthful. It's just a really bad decision. I don't know what, because I don't understand the stabbing. Like, I mean, I get that they're teenagers, but it's too stabbing should not be coming across your mind unless I don't know what it is. Like, if you're used to aggressive environment and that's your response, then get help. I would say, not for nothing. Like, get help, because why do you feel the need to stab someone, even over a female? Like, I don't know. I know that being 13 to 18 is a nightmare, or even to 20 is a nightmare. But it's just that's like something out of a drama. That's like something that you see in Degrassi. Someone getting stabbed or something because they're just not liked. Like there are bullies who go too far. That is a thing, you know. But I don't know what I can't put too much of an opinion on this because I don't know why. If the story is that he did it for no reason, then dude needs help. Either way, even if there is a reason even if there was a reason, it's not. It's like no need to be stabbing anybody unless you're getting attacked by that person. If you have no reason for that, then what are you doing? You know, so much. I don't know. Too much stuff is going on for people to just do that without care. But I don't know. It is what it is. This is the news, man. This is the kind of stuff you hear on the evening news. So I don't know what else to say. I mean, I can't kill a whole hour here on this topic, unfortunately, but I would say that like if the accept again like if the accept the story is that he did it for no reason, um, you're going to jail. I mean, either way, like everyone getting in trouble, whether it's juvie or jail or whatever, or hopefully parental punishment. Your parents ain't doing their job right in disciplinary matters, or the justice system is just slacking on stuff to let on letting kids know like listen, it gets real once you cross a certain line. Your age doesn't excuse you after a while. So I don't know how old these kids are, but seeing how they're high schoolers, that's a very hormonal time. But I don't know, I got no words. That's just something I've addressed to do.
It
If it's over a
see
girl, um, let this be the first and only time you ever do that, because you can't go around doing that over a woman. Unless if your girl is being attacked by somebody and you're doing something to self defense. Well, let me not. You know what? Let me not defend that idea. Like, if this is your woman, protect your woman, but don't go crazy just to go crazy. Um, but I'm trying not to give the bad advice here, so forgive me. Edit anything that sounds crazy. Um, Nah, you know what?
you good. I'm gonna say this
Let this be
because
the first and only time you ever do this, because if you're fighting over a girl, you're going to be seen as a really big flag in more ways than one, because no one is going to accept you as a partner if you're going to fight over a girl. Like, you're a teenager, but that doesn't excuse you. Like, really learn from this, because you can't go into manhood doing that. Like, you know, it just ain't the right way to do something. Not everything, not every not every solution, not every solution is a punch to the face. So, you know, use 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 wisdom going forward. That's all I gotta say.
there was no wisdom here. This was a case of immaturity, pride, and ego.
I don't know if you're
That,
talking or not. I don't hear nothing.
hold test, check. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me check my mic.
Yeah, I can't hear you
No,
now.
that might be you. A lot of pride, a lot of ego went into this situation. And give me 1 second, folks. This whole situation is a lose-lose from what I saw. The first time I seen any of this stuff, it just was too choppy. And to respond to what he said, I think that's an excuse. I think the technology that we have in 2026 is too good for them not to be able to clear any of that up. And since he said that, I want to present another clip to y'all. Let me bring this up on the big screen. This is a clearer version of it. This is more commentary from another gentleman on TikTok covering this. I want to try to be as thorough with this as possible, and I want y'all to be able to see this as clear as possible. So if he has a even better clip, then I'm all for it. I'm gonna let this play. Oh, like 2-3 minutes. Hold on a second.
Went down, etc. Now, this is kind of a long tape, but you get the idea. At a certain point, he's going to come in contact with the police, and we're going to get to that in a second. And I'll link to that full tape in the description. But here is a pocket knife as it was found on the scene of the crime. Now, they said it was a 3.5-inch blade. This is a really basic pocket knife, and it's not in a locked position, as you see. If it was in a locked position, you'd be able to get a lot more leverage on it. Now, this is a pocket knife, regular gas station pocket knife I've had for a long time. I always use it just to open boxes and stuff like this. But okay, so this blade right here is about 3 3/4, not quite 4. So about the same as that. So if it's like this in the fully extended lock position, you can get a lot of leverage like that, like this, maybe even more like that, because you're able to grab this and get the full extension of whatever. But if it's not in a locked position and it's like that, if you hold it like this or like that, you're going to cut yourself. And as you can see, it's not really, it's kind of flimsy. So for this kind of knife like this to kill somebody, it's like, what are the odds of that happening? I'm not really sure, but they're probably not very high. Here is the body cam footage of Karmelo being arrested. And now you're going to be able to hear some sound. You're going to be able to hear from Karmelo as this whole thing is unfolding.
Hold on. If somebody is shooting the victim, they need to be over there. Don't reach for anything, all right, man? Stop right there for me. Dispatch 443. I got these suspects, and they're currently treating the victim. Again, he's on the north end of the stadium. All right. Any weapons on you like that? Go ahead. I'll look here.
Heard what he said. He put his hands on me. That's what he said just now.
Help me, y'all back up a little bit. Come over here for me. Over here. I'm gonna put your handcuffs for now, okay? Dispatch 443. Everybody can slow down. I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs right now detained.
Everyone else can slow down. Suspect detained in handcuffs.
Hold on. You can open up the channel, and medics are clear to come in. Have them come to the northeast entrance. There's gonna be a gate that's wide open there, and then you come to the victim from there. This is the alleged suspect.
Went down, etc.
And that's not even the one that I really wanted to show y'all, man. It's another one that shows Hunter running ahead of his brother into the tent. Karmelo is actually sitting down. Hunter gets in his face. Then you see Austin follow up behind him. There's an exchange. Then Karmelo gets up. At some point, he runs out. Eddie, the one who claimed he had nothing to do with him being there, he runs off after him, saying he's going to kill him. You killed my friend. And here we are, Desperado, you are more familiar with this situation, and at the beginning of the stream, I'm saying, I had to make it perfectly clear. I wasn't privy to the information until this came out. And when I saw it, I was like, all right, yeah, now I understand. I understand why people feel the way they feel. Because at the beginning, when we first started talking about it, I said, look, man, if he's guilty and he went out of his way to blatantly kill him for other reasons, he deserves his sentence. If this was based off of self-defense, I need to see evidence. I need to see it. For me, I didn't see it. And then I ended up just out of nowhere coming across a clip earlier that showed something completely different that changed my whole perspective of it. So, I'll give you the floor if you want to say anything, because you presented this to me earlier. I was kind of over it until I saw what I saw. But what you got?
First, I want to tell everybody what's up, man. It's Thursday night. This is my Friday. And I think this is what, round 3? I believe this is round 3 of the Carmelo Austin Metcalf saga, because that's what it is. It become a saga now. I'm gonna tell you like this. All right. You said that you needed evidence, right? You said you needed evidence to see it differently. See it the way you wanted to see it differently than the way it was framed. But like I was trying to say, this story was framed from the moment go. They been framing it. They had a whole year to get everything prepared for the case. Once again, the outcome was hard to digest. You see the video. You saw what you just played. Well, you saw what you seen earlier, how that went. And the first video I think came out. I think they showed him running from out the tent. They showed him after the incident occurred. He ran from out the tent, came down the bleachers, and then he ran into the authorities. And they even showed that video of him telling the authorities the actions that he did or whatnot, and that he touched me first. All the stuff that was said in the beginning. Now, the crazy part is that, to me, that was the only thing that kind of stayed. 'Cause we looking for consistency. To me, if you go back to what happened last year when it all went down, that was the only thing that kind of remained consistent. If you play all of it back, did that ever change up what he said that he touched me first? He put his hands on me. He put his hands on me. That never changed. I'm just we speaking facts. But what did change is how they framed it to say that he was the aggressor and all of this. You never heard none of the stories about Hunter's story was real changeable when it first happened. If you look at the video and look what he said, it didn't even match up. That did not even match up. And then also, if you look at the video, because you said he approached Mello first. He walked up first, and based off Austin is the twin brother, he come along to the left of him. So if you say something to me first, right? You come up and you say something to me first, I'm looking at you, Hunter, looking at Hunter. And then his twin brother come because that's his twin brother. So he looking like, what? What y'all about to do? Also, you had the other teammates that was standing behind them, like they standing up, like, yeah, what something about to go down here. If you look at how it went, and of course, the words was exchanged, and then it looked like a scuffle. Now, if you look at it real close, this is before the stab. This is what nobody don't want to talk about. Let's go back before the stab actually happened. If you look at it and slow it down in slow motion real close, you can actually see Austin Metcalf punch, and they were punching Mello. You see the hands being thrown. Karmelo actually tried, when that happened, Karmelo actually tried to get away, get from under the tent. Once it got physical, then they pulled him back under the tent. And that's when the stab happened. So if you look at it real close, you want to know when the stab happened? That's when the stab actually happened. He tried to get away from that shit. They pulled him back under the tent and commenced to either jumping his ass, fighting him. And that's when the stab happened. He stabbed him. Yeah. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. It might have been more than 4, the way that was looking. You got all them right there. Nobody helping me. Look how that look. Come on. So yeah, he said he touched me first. He did. So the way I see it, bro, that's what nobody didn't want to show. Why couldn't we see these videos last year? Why we had to wait a whole year to see it? Because perception become reality, and the way somebody frames something become believable, if you feel me. Just because you might frame it a certain way, that don't mean that's what happened. That's what they wanted everybody to believe. They wanted them to believe that shit from Carmelo, that he was the aggressor and he came up and did this and that. And I appreciate you for searching the information, man. That's all. I mean, let's listen to this. It took over a year, because this happened last April. We at the end of June to find out the other side. If that's not fishy, I don't know what is. Why couldn't we see it like all the other ones? When that happened with the 14-year-old, did we not see the video? Did we not see them run out the store and chase him down? That was shown. So that's what I'm saying. So notice how when somebody's in the wrong, and when it's somebody and when it's somebody in the wrong, we gotta switch it up, and we gotta frame this video. We gotta edit this video. We gotta study it. They had to study the video. And then they put out what they wanted the public to see because, like I said in the beginning, in round one, this story got big publicity, bro, real fast. And when you got all them eyeballs on this story, hey, we people want to be viewed a certain way, and I think that's why they withheld the video because these videos did not come out immediately like they should, and it was all captured at that track meet. You got it. You on mute.
The situation with the Rick, if you're talking about the Rick Child joint, they still let his ass go. So I don't see the correlation there, unless what you're saying is, well, they screwed that 14-year-old over with their video, and they screwed Karmelo over with their video, because it's clear as fucking day that Rick Child gunned that little kid down in cold blood. And in this situation, I always said I don't trust humans no more. For the most part, I don't trust media no more because most media is controlled. Just like we talking right now, a person can take 5 minutes of the stream and turn it into a Batman commercial. You can do damn near anything with these clips and turn it into whatever you want it to look like. That was one of my issues with this case. Y'all really expected them to show you this black kid may be innocent in all this? You really thought they were going to show that? They still lying about the black boy who was found rolled up in a mat. They do everything within their power to control the narrative however they want. And my thing was, guilty is guilty, innocent is innocent. I don't have no dog in this fight. I even went on record to say, well, if you coming at me with more than one person, yeah, it's a likelihood you're probably going to get hurt. If somebody's going to have to lose, it's going to have to be you. We are from different worlds. See, these ignorant, racist people, their psychology game is superb, but they think we stupid because they will use our toxic psychology against us. They'll use our toxic culture against us, and they can get away with it because it's so romanticized that you're just automatically going to expect or assume, well, typical nigga behavior. That's how they get away with it. They try to control the narrative with this. I didn't trust the fact that Hunter himself lied. They didn't put him on the stand. And then when you actually see the video itself, he's actually the one who is initiating the issue. Now, I don't know if you've seen this clip or not, there was a clip I played at the beginning of the stream, and the woman who spoke, she presented her own theory as to what she believes transpired here, which led me down the rabbit hole of, was this over a female or not? That's what me and Max was talking about. Was this over the female? Because the timeline that she painted for us was, how did Austin and Hunter and his people know that Karmelo was under the tent in the first place? Eddie is the one who invited him under the tent. But Eddie lied and said he didn't invite him. He got caught in this lie. He tried to distance himself from having a real close type of a relationship with Karmelo. But it just felt suspect that he would invite Karmelo under that tent, and it feels like he lined him up. Bottom line, the way that she's painted it, it sounds like Eddie lined Karmelo up to get beat. It went a completely different way, and it possibly was over a female, because Karmelo was dealing with a female that he possibly might have liked or something. But that was just in theory. Either way, it was a lose-lose on both parties' side.
Well, I'm gonna say I see your point, because I think we stated last time before they came over to the Metcalf that he invited him under that tent. But we also stated when it went down, when the approach happened, when they came over to the tent, I say, who he have? You got all them numbers, and the person that invited me under the tent, it should have been, it should have been both of them. Should have been scrapping. I mean, you invited me under this tent. So if you invited me under this tent, we supposed to be boys. Why you didn't stand for me then? Oh, you, like I said, he could have said, hey, because he knew them too. Hey, Hunter, man, Mello, my man, he with me. Like that. That wasn't done. Why you couldn't say that, Eddie? You see what I'm saying? And then, Eddie and Hunter lied. So I think if Eddie lied on the stand, they protected Hunter, because Hunter was lying. Hunter was gonna do some big lying. And when you get up on that stand, he would have blew it for his brother. That's what I think would have happened. If he would have got up on that stand and he caught that cross examination, he would have blew it. He would have blew that thing wide open. That's who needed to be on the stand, Hunter. Now, if they would have had him on there, yeah, he ain't doing no 35 years. That's facts. Because he already had some suspect in him when they did that interview with moms. You could see he couldn't handle that. He couldn't handle it. He pretty much feel guilty because, or responsible. I'm gonna say responsible for kind of costing his brother his life, man. Because if it wasn't for him coming over there, Austin would probably still be alive. All Austin did was back up his twin brother. That's the way it looked on that video. The way it looked on that video, it looked like he started it, and then Austin stepped in there and enforced it a little bit. Like, yeah. And yeah, if it wasn't for that, you see what I'm saying? Could have had a different outcome. But Eddie lied, and then Eddie, they got pictures and all that. Eddie was in that man's house. He was in his house and all that. So he knew Karmelo real well and all that. So that's where I think that's why he getting all this getting this appeal and all that done, because you can't lie on the oath, especially off no killing and stuff. You can't do that.
You can't, but they do it all the time. I don't know why that's
Yeah,
so.
but you pay for it though. Can't you disrespected the damn court. If they ask you a question, you tell the truth. And then going back to the videos and all that with child shooting that 14-year-old, it's still right or wrong. So what I'm gonna say is, you tell what's right. You don't focus on what's wrong. You do the right thing. So
Hmm.
they integrity fucked up, and what else am I about to say? They got a problem with it with their integrity, and they're gonna have to examine this whole case again, man. They gotta do it. They can't let that man do that and walk off. That's not what you're supposed to do. You just disrespected the whole case when you did that. It's supposed to be about justice, but what this case is proving so far is that it's bigger than just them two. It's exposing America for that word racism, man. It's out here, and people is showing their colors out here. That's what I'm seeing.
Max, you wanted to add something to that?
Yeah, since he said that he was defending his twin brother, he didn't kill for that. Like, yeah, what he said, it makes sense. Like, yeah, they get away with things, but he's right. Remember, there's a reason why they say when you're arrested, anything you say can be used against you in the court of law. So if if you're being a mess in front of the cops, and then on the stand you can't even be honest, that automatically can disqualify you, even if you have reasonable cause, because now you dismembered yourself. The truth, believe it or not, there's a reason why pleading guilty, if you are actually guilty of something, um, sometimes can um, benefit you, because the honesty can give you some leverage of leniency, not for the most extreme crimes necessarily, obviously, but just like it helps you in the long run. Like in the court, it stands on some. They still have some kind of principle where the honesty will still be the best policy for you, especially even when you're guilty of something that you know may have layers to it. You know, you just be straight. If these guys are lying about something, like how you gonna say you didn't invite the person when you actually did, and like I don't know how the court case went down, but he's right about that. Like the integrity, you integrally messed yourself up, so you further have added more problems to a case that didn't need more problems, because you refuse to be honest, thinking that you could just slick your way. You can't assume everyone is gonna be your friend for the wrong reasons like that, because there are judges in this country that will stand firm on what the law is supposed to be doing, because they've seen too much stuff happen in their tenure. I was watching a documentary, for example, about a car crash with what was her name, Mackenzie something, and it was a story about the girl who killed her boyfriend and best friend. And when I tell you that the parents' reasons trying to defend their daughter, and even their daughter just acting a type of way, when I tell you that they tried to be so slick, it wasn't feasible to that judge. And they didn't even use a jury. They just went by the judge, assuming that the judge would probably, I guess, they figured the judge would be a better voice of perspective to have a final say in, instead of a jury of people. And I'm telling you, man, you can't be trying to be slick in that area, especially if you didn't present something before. If you're trying to dismiss something that was already shown to be said by you, and someone can say that you said this, and you say something else on the stand, then you're messing yourself up, because the evidence will speak for itself. 9 times out of 10.
Which takes me back to what I said earlier. I don't really have trust or much faith in the justice system anymore. And I mean that might sound a little biased. I get it, but when you look at some of these cases, they be clear as day, but you'll still have a sour face when the verdict come in.
Yeah.
There was a woman, and I did a reaction to it. A judge, black judge, she got reprimanded for having sex in her chambers.
Wow.
She's like Shawn Michaels loud. You know how Shawn Michaels intro music come on?
Yeah.
She was like that, and getting her cheeks slapped in the drink. And I'm like, bro, y'all bold as hell.
Not you. You know Shawn Michaels intro music.
Yeah, he was on. He was
I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting that.
I was trying to, because I didn't want you to think I was exaggerating. I heard this shit. I was like,
Break Hotel.
Yeah, bro, she was in there getting it in,
bro.
And then
you know what was dirty? Both of them was married, and she was sleeping with him. And I think the judge was working with his wife. They worked the same place. She was sleeping with her husband.
That's wow.
Yeah, right in her office, getting it in. And
so this was recorded. Like they're like this because you said that she was like Shawn Michaels intro music loud. I'm like, did you hear this? Like,
yeah, it was ran. Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was a teller or just a random person working that day. They said it's been going on for weeks. I'm like, wow.
It's been going on for a minute. You in the office getting it like that. Hey.
Oh my gosh.
I only brought that up to say, like, how do you really put
That's the norm.
How can you trust somebody to make a decision over your life when they doing stuff like that? You know what I'm saying?
Is this I mean, you know what's crazy? Sorry, what are you gonna say?
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know what the thing is that a lot of people say is that like you gotta consider 90 more people are worldly than they are religiously disciplined, and very few will be able to keep that discipline. Because I watch shows like, me and my mom's watch shows like Grey's Anatomy, and the amount of sexual activity they depict in that show is fictitious. It's a fictitious show, but then we forget that there's probably truth to that. Because, and I'm like, I watch wrestling, I'm thinking like, not much. My friend's like, dude, you don't think they're screwing around, bro? Like, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think about that. Like, even though it's probably true, like people they're like smart people in the industries. There will be smart people in industries that have their vices, like geniuses. Ray Charles was innovative music artist for R&B, practically invented it. And he was riding heroin into his 40s. And even he said that it induced a lot of his creativity at that time. So I get what you mean that, like, how can you trust anyone that does that kind of mess? The reality is that look at people that are put in office, right? There are they're Christians who defend Donald Trump simply because he imposes laws that, while they're extreme, they are more biblically tied than they are against the word of God. Like, a lot of people argue about abortion. He put a ban on it, or at the very least gave power to the states to decide what they want to do with it. Because, and Vance even said this on Joe Rogan, because he said no one could find a sweet spot with that situation. So they decided to just give the power back to the states and let them decide what they want to do with it. And of course, that still creates an uproar because now there's states that make it illegal. Like, abortion to some people is seen as murder. To some, it's not seen as that at all. depending on how far into pregnancy you are. They go by a lot of what I consider technicalities. Um, so and he's not Christian by any means. This man has a reputation. The brothers in Epstein files, along with a bunch of other brothers, just because they were friends with him or they were associated with him one way or the other. So, like, people, if we go from biblical stances, God puts people in power or allows it for a bigger reason. Like, you could nitpick individually what they're doing as a person, but there are a lot of us, and it's not to excuse anybody, but at the same time, it's like consider where people fall on the spiritual spectrum. A lot of people are not about the Christian life, where like it tells you save sex for marriage and do not commit adultery, even with your own eyes, as Jesus tells us. If you look at a woman with lustful intent, you already committed adultery in your heart. So a lot of people are not about that life. A lot of people that we trust to a degree, like doctors and stuff like that, we have no idea what their personal life is like. They could be having fun with the cute secretary at the front, for all you know, and you will never know it unless someone makes a point to expose them. So I say that's why it's like, look, trust God, trust Jesus over everything, because if you put too much faith in man to the point where you put them in this idolizing position, you're going to be very disappointed, because people are going to mess up on something. We all got something. Am I right or wrong?
No, that's a fact.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, brother? I know I went long.
I was gonna ask y'all a question. Let's say you are a judge and you are proceeding over a murder trial. Maybe it don't even have to be that. And you have to decide the fate of someone that is of your complexion or of a different complexion. Can you do it unbiasedly without, oh, well, that's my brother, we both black, so I'm gonna give them a slap on the wrist? Oh, this person put my people into slavery for 300, 400 years, I'm gonna make them pay for it. Or this person did this and that. Can you be a judge and be completely unbiased in your sentencing?
I could do that. I feel like that should be a rule, actually. Because, I mean, look, I forget how there are some levels of wanting to be segregated can be, because sometimes you want to be with your own community of people that you're familiar with. Like, we like to mingle, but some of us, we don't always like to be neighbors, like neighbors with everybody, because sometimes there's just a disconnect in relating to people. But as a judge, if I were to do it, I played one, but that's not the same thing. I don't think it wouldn't be right to just offend a brother just because it's a brother. It would take a lot of confidence and discipline in not being biased towards anybody, because the social pressure can get to you depending on how big of a scope the situation is. If it's the kind of thing where it turns into OJ Simpson and you're looking at this brother like it's like, or MJ, if we're looking at this carefully, like, okay, this is the biggest name in the industry in the world, like next to Jesus. Putting MJ away to jail is like pretty much putting Jesus to jail for most people. Because that's how they treat Michael. Or treated Michael. Like, I would look carefully. It'd be you would have to really dig into disconnecting your emotional status because sometimes you can look at a person and be like, dang, they look innocent, but you had to really know your psychology because you got to pay attention to everything. What vibes are you getting from the room? What are you getting from the evidence? And how are people talking to your face in your courtroom? Whether they black or white or Spanish or any other or Indian or any other language that invokes a different color complexion. Like, what you got to go by what the law states. The law tells you, as far as I know, about what the evidence says, not what you're emotionally getting invoked by. Um, unless you have like, if there's reasonable doubt in why this person should have lenience, um, there's room to be unbiased if you teach yourself to stay strictly to the law. I would do everything. I would do my best to not be biased towards anything because we all have something to work on. But I would, I would try to stay unbiased. What about you, bro? I don't know how to say your name, dude. Sorry,
Desperado.
No, you
Desperado.
no, you good, bro. You good.
Yeah.
Um, if I was a judge and I gotta call it down the middle. I don't see that's the thing about this particular case, that this Carmelo Austin Metcalf thing. Why can't it just be called down the middle? And why can't people just assume that everything gonna work out the way it's supposed to? You see what I'm saying? So if, like I said, if I was a judge, I think it's the judge's responsibility to go back to that word integrity, because you're a judge. You trying to decide someone's fate, and you trying to make a serious decision that's going to affect all the lives in the courtroom. Both families will be affected. Um, I think it's just come down to right or wrong. I think that's what everybody wanted in that case. I just wanted to be done right. I just want right and wrong. And when you don't get that, you know, you get backlash. The stuff with like Rodney King and all of that. You get backlash if you don't go down the middle. So with evidence, I would say with all the evidence, and it's crazy how the video just came out, and you look at all of that, I would base judgment off more off intent than the actual actions of the person. And if they have you know if they have mercy, because some people do the heinous crime and they don't really give a fuck. So we got to put that on the table. It's the character of these people, and that do affect your sentence, by the way. So if you want an extra 10, 20 years, go ahead and act like you ain't do nothing and watch me run it up. Because at the end of the day, you want the punishment to fit the crime, and you want the person that did the crime to do the damn time. But you gotta balance that out, because like with this self-defense stuff, it gotta be intent, man. That stuff gotta come down to intent. Predetermined. You know what I'm saying? What was this designed to do this crime? Was it an accident? Did you do it on purpose? Did you wait for him? I mean, you gotta get with your team and discuss all of that before you come out and change somebody's life like that. And then once you gathered everything, like I said, and you based off the person that you about to send this judgment to, based off their character, that then you can give out the right sentence. But it gotta be right or wrong. And I wouldn't judge nobody if I didn't have the right intent and evidence for that individual, whether they white, black, Chinese, purple, yellow, whatever. You know, If your ass was wrong, you gone. And that's just how I look at it. Yep.
Yeah.
It's easy to say that when it ain't your own flesh and blood sitting right there. You gotta. We have such a purpose and such a calling on our life that it's going to require services that will probably have people hate you, mock you, spit at you, ridicule you, but you still got to stand on the truth no matter what. And that's everything that I hated about this case. He got a whole new team. Just so y'all know, most of you probably already do. Karmelo's family has a whole new team. So they spinning the block. They not letting this go. But I think it's important that when we look at this situation, there's a couple of factors that you got to consider. The level of maturity on the parties that were involved, the cause and effect of that lack of maturity. Then you got to look at the adults that played their roles in this for the last year or so. There's no way in this world, realistically, as a lawyer, judge, or whatever, if I'm a lawyer or judge, I need all the facts, all the evidence to make the best decision possible so I can give out the sentences fairly. I can't take bribes. And I'm not just talking about money and political visibility to more prospects for more TV time and all that. I'm talking about you can't offer me sex and all this other stuff to move things in your favor because you think I'm your complexion or whatever, that I'm supposed to just hop and do what you want me to do. I don't care if you're the mayor. I don't care if you're the congressman, president. I'm gonna stay fair as possible, and it's all. And if that costs me my position on my job, you're gonna have a hard time getting me up out this seat. That's how it's supposed to be. That's not what we got here. For everybody who was saying he intentionally killed that man and he didn't have no reason to do it. You don't understand our culture. You try to modify it. You try to retrofit it. You use it to your advantage to destroy us. But you don't understand our culture. Because if you did, then you know that if we are threatened in any way by multiple people, we've already assessed the situation. Eddie took out his cell phone and started recording. Instead of trying to step in and advocate for Karmelo, he took out his phone and started recording. What kind of friend is that? That sounds like somebody who wanted to see you get your ass whooped. That sounds like it sounded like somebody who was jealous of you, who had some secret envy towards you, and he tried to line you up. If you ain't from this culture, you don't know what line you up means. You probably know about your wives and people like that trying to put insurance claims on you and shit like that. But line you up is basically when you have inside people being used to get you to certain locations to get certain jobs done. And that's what this sounds like.
You ain't talking about a shape up.
So what do you think? This new footage came out. I mean, it was already there. They just didn't want us to see it. You already gave the man a sentence. What did you hope to accomplish? I'm confused about that. You hid the truth so that you could give this man time behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
What were you trying to have something done to him in jail before he had a chance to get out? Or did you think that you could keep the truth from coming out, stall long enough to find a way to keep him in it? Like, what was the goal?
Shit, I think they exposed themselves. They exposed themselves when they did that damn trial so fast. This was a serious case, eye opening, worldly case. Everybody had their eyeballs on this, and for them to handle that case the way they did was very unprofessional, and it was very eye opening, and it was a lot of red flags in what should have happened that didn't happen. And then you're gonna drop the videos after you do the sentence. Where they do that at? What was the evidence that why it was going on? Why the whole world? Because we everybody invested. Why the whole world couldn't see it from start to finish? Why is that? Why we had to see bits and pieces? You had it. You had the whole thing, and then just like you just stated, we living in a new era right here. We didn't really have cell phones and everything like that, and all these different outlets to get clicks and likes back then. That's what the era we live in right now. And these kids pull the phone out in a minute over the most embarrassing scenes known to man. So whether you getting shot up, beat up, at the inch of your life, that stuff is being recorded. So what you mean you don't have the footage? You can confiscate everybody's stuff that was on the scene to get the real deal. Get the audio. I want to hear the audio, everything. And technology, all this technology, man, please. But nah, I don't want all that to come out because of what because of the truth, because of the right and wrong. Nah, I wanna go ahead and be biased and do them like this. We gotta have what do we call it, a open and shut
Talk to y'all
case.
later. God damn.
All right, peace, bro. You gotta have an open and shut case. Why is that? Exposed. You don't want to be exposed. You see what I'm saying? And I hate this the keep saying this over and over, but he shouldn't have lost his life. Okay? He shouldn't have. But it was the outcome that happened. And because of that, I think it shifted everything towards Carmelo. He the one that did it. Like you said, he admitted that he did it. Yeah, I'm the one. He said I didn't allegedly. I actually did it. If 6, 7 people jumping on your ass up and down, like a trampoline, what you gonna do? Yeah, what you gonna do if all them people stomping on you and getting you up out the way? You gotta think of something. And Eddie pulled the phone out. You said he pulled the phone out and recorded that ass whooping. Where was the help at? Why couldn't you tell them I was good? Because it go back to what you said. They wanted to line his ass up. It was a whole setup. He probably took his girl or girl that he liked or whatever like that, because he did have a girlfriend, and he hated. He was jealous, and he pulled this off. He probably texted them to come on over. Mind you, the incident that happened under that tent, Hunter and Austin was coming off a goddamn suspension anyway, so they already did this bullshit before. They not perfect kids. Nobody's perfect in this position. And they was coming off of being suspended from that school. You see what I'm saying? So they've been fucking up. And then he text them. He probably text them and line Mello up, like y'all said, over that girl. Because when it was time, if it wasn't gonna go down, why you ain't staying up? Because you invited me under the tent. You see what I mean? And then, you just mentioned he got a whole new team. Mello had to get a whole new team because look how they handled the case with the all-white jury. Yeah, we're gonna say they might have had a Chinese or a Spanish. That don't mean shit. I'm gonna say it again, all-white jury. Yeah. So what the Mello man do? You know what I'm saying? Then they call him what? Watermelon felon and all. Come on.
Oh,
Watermelon felon.
Charleston White with that bullshit, man.
Nah, that's Dad. Dad said it first.
I know, but I'm saying Charleston White started selling T-shirts and shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he did that. But you call the man watermelon felon? Like, come on. You trying to start? Only thing that's been going on is people keep stirring the pot with this. But you had all that going on there. He got to get a whole black team to represent him for a damn appeal so he can get his 35 years reduced. He don't deserve no damn 35 years, bro. If you show the entire thing, come on, bro. That's what they didn't show in the court. All of that was supposed to be handled in the trial itself. Why all of that? That should have been happening weeks before it came out, and it didn't come because they didn't want to do that. So now fast forward. Now that he's sitting in there, they've sentenced him. Now you drop the videos, man. Where they do that at? Then you got then something else just dropped, and they coming out with videos, making videos about the stabbing of Austin Metcalf. That's going on TikTok. So now that's stirring the pot even more. People like, oh y'all making fun of the stabbing and all of that. This stuff don't make no sense, man. But then they say they got white people making fun of George Floyd. They had TikTok videos of the knee on his neck. Like it shouldn't have got to this level, but that's what's out here now. People are making videos on these incidents. It's sick. It's crazy. And it shouldn't happen. The only thing we asking and the only thing the world need to see is some justice, bro. Just call it down the middle and stop being biased so we can get this out the way. Because this was biased, bro. That Hunter should have been on the stand. He lied, bro. Hunter doesn't want to take the stand because he can't handle that pressure. Hunter can't handle that pressure. You could tell. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the way they handle this whole case with this thing, man, is bogus, and it's a scam. I think the whole case, the way they handled that thing was a scam to get him in there. Now that they got him in there, he gotta get a whole team to get an appeal. Come on, man. You could
But
have did it right the first time and got the justice.
yeah, you could have did it right the first time, but you forget where we are. Remember the question I asked you and I asked Max earlier? If you could do this job fairly and unbiased, that's what we got. I'm not putting this on everybody, but there's a lot of men and women in these seats that don't deserve to be in these seats. They're compromised. They're easily bought. You're going to run into this. If you don't know the law, if you ain't got God in your life, you ain't got the right team in your life, you screwed. Because it's only going to take being in the wrong place, the wrong time, around the wrong people. Karmelo, you trusted the wrong person. You should not have been around Eddie. Eddie never had your best interest at heart. How many of us can say we done been around people just like that? We all know Eddie. If that's what happened, of course. The justice system is so flawed. You would be a fool to not protect yourself by all means necessary when you go out of this, just out of your property, get in your car and go wherever you're going. You better have receipts, you better have recordings, you better have audio, you better have witnesses. Because you never know. Do he deserve 35? From what I saw, absolutely not. If you're going to give him any time, this is definitely not the most accurate number. That needs to be reduced. I would even go as far as to say he need to be released. Let him out. Rick Child gunned somebody down running away from him. There's no self-defense for that. This brother had multiple assailants in his personal space threatening to harm him, and it even got to the point to where it escalated and he defended himself. We're not doing apples and oranges. This isn't an apples and oranges case trial, and I hope and pray that this team does its job, that they highlight so much of the ignorance that's been presented here. I think that entire jury was piss poor. I think that judge and how he operated was piss poor. The DA piss poor. I understand Jeff Metcalf feeling some type of way about what happened to his son. My deepest condolences. However, you're looking at a situation from a parent to a parental position. Somebody tried to line this brother up. It backfired in a terrible way. And you have to accept, like, there was a core issue here. I don't know if Eddie was the main or the common denominator with all of that or not. But
I got a question when you finish, whenever you finish.
Go ahead, you got it.
Okay. Being as though as it may, because we state in the situation that happened, let's just say, because we keep using that stab, and let's just say that we take away that weapon. Let's just say Carmelo doesn't pull it out. Okay. He don't. And at that point, if you see the video, it already escalated, like you just stated. Let's say he don't pull it out. And let's just say, hell, he can't get away. He just there. He going for it. He doing what he can do, but they on him. Hell, let's just say, hey, Eddie, join in. Fuck it. So that's another person. Cause like I said, he ain't had nobody to he didn't have nobody fighting with him, good people. If you look at the whole thing, who did he have compared to what they was already twins, so that's already 2-on-1. Then you get two more with them, they come, that's four. Then then Eddie got a hidden agenda, that's five, possibly six, and then he up under that tent. They teams tent. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say so let's remove the knife and let's say all of them was just getting the best of them, and it got out of hand, and then maybe he fell out or hit his head on something, and he bled out. Let's just say he bled out, no weapon. You know what I'm saying? And Carmelo lost his life. What should be the Fed calling with that?
They
Would
would
you
have got a
hand
slap.
would you hand out big sentences or not?
They would have got a slap on the wrist. It wouldn't have been no extreme hardcore sentence. They at best they probably would have gave it like aggravated assault or some shit like that. It wouldn't have been what you would expect out of that. Because I mean, you if y'all have been on any type of bleachers, those look like they were metal.
Yeah.
So, and I know them are not no comfortable as seats. So if you hit your head wrong or you fall wrong at any point on any of that shit, you can break something for sure.
Well, like I said, they can slam him or they pound him enough, man. He bleed out. And this is and mind you, this is without him pulling that knife out, because everybody want to talk about the stab so damn much. But if he don't pull it out, then what? And then Eddie was hating. He could have joined in and added some more pressure on Melo. And then yeah, so the main thing is my main point is what I'm saying is he could have lost his life being jumped. We know that happened before. That have happened. That's proven facts. And you got to look at the size comparison with them versus Melo. We got to throw that in there. That's extra pressure on Melo, and no one's helping him fight these people off. We got to fucking say it the way it happened. And all of that's going down. You getting jumped. Yeah, he might have fought back because it literally looked like he was fighting back, but you ain't gonna win, beat all them numbers like that with nothing. So no, I'm not advocating that he should have killed all of them or he should have lost his life. But a weapon do help to get somebody up off your ass. Because if I can do something to one of them, it'll make everybody else kind of sit still, understand what I did to your man's. I mean, that's the culture. Because my man was just talking about the culture. That's the culture, and you do have a right to defend yourself in a situation like that. And we also have to put on here that it was called the stand your ground law. So what's up with that? It wasn't the weapon wasn't illegal. It wasn't. And you got a right to stand your ground. And we stated on here if it was more than one person and if they were becoming threatening, which the video showed they came in there aggressive. That's called a threat. You're threatened. You told me to get the fucker from under the tent. That's aggression, bro. I mean, I could probably say I'm not moving, but I ain't gonna keep rapping to y'all if y'all come with all them numbers. I'm thinking of how I'm gonna try to escape. Cause you gotta think one went on one side. If you look at the video, One was on the other side. Then you had the two in the middle, like they all hovering over him. You said if they hovering over him, it should be self-defense. This should be self-defense. Right or wrong?
That's how I'm looking at it officially, for the record, because we didn't. This is the Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle trifecta, the three German suplexes. This is the third time we did this, and I've come to my conclusion, my final conclusion, that this was self-defense. I've seen everything I needed to see. So for the people that was in like the short clips and other little places on Facebook where I shared this, and you were saying, "Oh, he stabbed somebody. It don't justify him stabbing somebody." Well, you try getting this shit beat out of you by multiple people, because now it's out there. You can see it. Just in case. I understand, but I understand. Like, even with y'all seeing the raw footage, all of it, you're still going to try to defend it. That's just how spiteful people are. You don't really want the down
the middle verdict. And go back to that stab again. Like I said, he did stab him. But what I'm saying is, I said it before when you asked the question about the biasness with the judging. I'm going off intent. And then if you look at the first one, we said if it was personal, he would have caught a few of them, a few stab punctures to the chest. He did not know Austin. He didn't know he didn't know none of them. They came up to him. That's what happened. The video shows that. And like I said before, it shows that he was trying to escape even when they got physical before. I'm gonna say it again, before the stab actually took place. If you looking, you can see it. He did not just pull the knife out and stab Austin. No, he did not. He was trying to get away from him. Austin pulled him under the tent, and there you have it. Now, intent. Intent meaning I'm gonna try to kill this person. I don't think we have that here. That's called intent, people. Meaning I'm gonna hit Austin as many times as I possibly can to stand over his body and let everybody know I killed him. That's not what happened, people. That's not what happened. It was one stab to get released. They released him. What did he do? You can see the footage. He runs outside of the tent, down the bleachers to the authorities, and he didn't even know he died. He just knew he had to get he was getting jumped, and he got him up off him. That's how it played out. Because he even asked the officer about that. He didn't know. You know, then everybody that was jumping him was right there. They saw it. They discovered it and said, "Oh, something going on there," but that wasn't his intent. His intent was to survive. If people can understand that, it was to survive, and he did that. Yeah, you muted, bro. You muted.
Nobody should have lost their life in this situation. My apologies. I muted on multiple different little
Hmm.
parts. Austin should still be here. Carmelo should still be free. Jealousy shouldn't even have been in this. They should be playing sports, getting back on the field, doing their thing. Unfortunately, we're here because of a combination of different negative stereotypes and characteristics within us that position us to fall into snares and traps, folly, so to speak, when your mind is on the wrong stuff, when your intention and your focus is on the wrong things, it drives you to do shit that you shouldn't be doing. You have no business doing. I'm ashamed of the courts that proceeded over this. I'm ashamed of the adults that proceeded over this as jury. I'm ashamed of everybody who was using this to create a race war. I'm ashamed of everybody who was making excuses for situations that happened because of decisions that were made by everybody involved here. It wasn't just the stabbing. It was the ones that put their hands on them, that approached them, that tried to line them up. The people who tried to conceal video footage, audio, testimony, keep Hunter off the stand. Everybody played a part in the inconsistency of the verdict that should have been put down in the first place. Nothing about this was handled the way that it should have been, period. So we'll see what happens moving forward with the appeal proceedings. I think that's pretty much all I got. Shout out to Max for pulling up. I'll let you close out if you got any words.
Yeah, man, this was the trilogy. This was considered the trilogy right here. It's just tough. This is just a tough outcome. Um, I said it before and I said it again. It's tough for both parties. Um, I, I think it's tough for the society and all of that, but we got to we gotta come together, good people, and realize that you know can we just stand for we need to stand for what's right and wrong, man. That's all we asking. And with this case here, it shows that people got a lot of growing to do. That's what it shows. That's what I've been looking at. I've been looking at comments and I've been seeing how uh I've been seeing how disrespectful and how despicable people are, man. They awful people out here in this world. And that's what this case have shown me. And they need to work on themselves. I mean, I understand um some people got an eye for an eye mentality and all that, but we gotta come together as a whole and and fix all that hate crime stuff. Cause it's hateful out here. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's been another video posted with teenagers jumped on a I think four white teenagers jumped on a black boy and jumped him and beat him down. And it's almost a retaliation to this verdict and to this case and this outcome. So, like I said in the first one, the round one of this, man, this outcome is it's just hard to digest. It is. People just it's hard to accept what happened the way it happened, man. But it's easier to accept it if it went the other way, and that's the whole problem. It can't always go the other way, and that's what this case has proven. This is eye opening to me, and I just hope people can learn and grow from it, man. And hopefully we can get better as a whole society. Because people, we all, and that's the sad part. We all living on this planet, and we all trying to come up together. We ain't got time for that. Look how long we've been amongst each other. So people need to, really look at that and look how idiotic them comments be. So with that being said, man, I'm just saying this. I hope we finally have put this to bed for one last time. We put this to bed. Self-defense. And we just got to treat people better because that's what it all comes down to. Respect and disrespect.
Real spill. Shout out to everybody, man, that pulled up this evening to hang out with us. Share your thoughts in the comments. If you're on YouTube, if you're not, come through, tap in with us, man. We do this. My thoughts and prayers go out to everybody involved. We about to get up out of here, but do me a solid before you go.
What's the goddamn button?
Y'all have a blessed evening, blessed Friday. I'll see some of y'all tomorrow. If not, enjoy your weekend.
That trilogy, Team Mello, Kansas season. Let's go.
The flow insane. Take my spot, so the range. Shoot my shot with perfect aim. 3rd degree, that perfect flame. Ain't no sleep, that's the game. Oh, so southern, that's the slang. When they see me, that's the main. Chasing checks and fly like planes. Big old stick, I bought a cane. Flick my wrist and bought the ring. I'm so boss, we're not the same. Paid the cost and kept